Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Anything and Everything. I'm your main host Dev, joined by Wyatt.
Hello.
And Brendan.
Hey.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can already see one main difference, or if you just heard it on Spotify or any other service, we don't have Zach with us this week. We had some issues go up behind the scenes, so we don't know when he's going to be back. We're going to try and talk things out. We're going to find out what's going on. So we were going to have like some intro, outro music, but he's our composer. He's not here. And this is going to be raw footage because he's our editor. He's not here. So this is all you're getting. We've been putting this one off for so long because we've been trying to fix stuff on our own. So if this episode is sloppy, we apologize in advance. But this week we're going to be talking about anything and everything for sports. This episode has been long awaited because, believe it or not, this is the one episode we couldn't do originally because of Zach. So we're going to take advantage of this small thing while he's out and cover some sports. So with that, anyone here have any questions before we start?
Not really.
Go. Okay. Let's get started. So, believe it or not, we were going to do this back during the Super Bowl weekend, that weekend for an episode, but we couldn't do it then because we just started having issues with Zach, and we couldn't take care of a few things, so we didn't have an editor. We couldn't get our intro outro music because some listeners have been asking for that. So now that we're here, we are going to be talking about some of that stuff because this has been long awaited, and again, we apologize. So yeah. So the Super Bowl this year was something else. I mean, we didn't watch it ourselves. We watched it afterwards, and of course, we watched the halftime show. But believe it or not, leading up to that was pretty wild. So, okay, I'm gonna be having my own bit because neither of these two know anything about football or the Super Bowl. But leading up to it, the Rams and the Bengals were going at it on their separate brackets. Because, okay, so I'm gonna fill you two in. Football Super Bowl is weird because so many different teams trying to go, and well, it gets very competitive. I was with some watch parties for the different teams getting up to the Super Bowl, and it was loud, it was exciting. Some of it was kind of depressing because, well, when the team you're rooting for loses in football and gets knocked out of chance to the Super Bowl, it gets salty pretty fast.
It does.
Either that or they get very depressed. Yeah. I'm not much of a football guy myself, but if I had to pick a team, I would say Dallas is probably my favorite team because, well, the way I was raised and where I was, Dallas was a pretty good team, or at least not until lately. I haven't heard a thing, but Super Bowl was very interesting. The halftime show was probably the best it's been for these past few years. This is a very hot take because last year's Super Bowl halftime show with The Weeknd was, this is my opinion, you guys, no one's going to yell at me because I'm not going to listen, was crap. Hot, steaming pile of crap. Like, all these new gen artists are so bad. So, like, when they had the Super Bowl halftime show this year and they went some older artists, that was probably the most exciting thing I've seen for a long time.
But I haven't been keeping up with sports, so.
You've done your fair share of sports, though, have you not?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. So, keeping to the trend of Major League, basketball has been looking pretty good, both mainstream and college. So NBA, you guys don't watch Major League sports, do you?
No.
So you guys have done local, personal, and esports. Am I correct? Yeah, I figured as much. NBA, I'm between a few teams myself, Golden State, Boston, and San Antonio, but a few days before we started recording this episode, Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors ran. Let me just say that was a fun game to watch. I was on my feet the whole time because, okay, when two teams that you're rooting for play against each other, it's kind of hard to pick sides. I think you can all agree on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so like say, for example, you're raised in one town but you move to another. You start rooting for this new town and your old hometown comes to place. You're going to feel awkward. You don't know who to root for, and you're going to be happy win or lose either side.
Yeah.
So, in that situation, it's a win-win. Unless it's a draw. But, no, the other night, Celtics and them were good. So for a few viewers, I am keeping up with some college for them. Because some of them are college basketball sports. And let me just say, keeping up with the Baylor basketball, Baylor University in Texas, that's been very interesting. They've had some pretty good they've had some pretty good wins lately. I've been keeping up. They had a few rough games, but no, they've been keeping good. So, to those few listeners who like Baylor, I appreciate you for the next 25 seconds.
Yeah.
So going local, I've been looking at some local teams lately, and the University Interscholastic League 3A basketball playoffs has been going on lately, and one of the local teams I was going for, I'm not going to say the names, they got knocked out first round, but they were a really good team. I was going to actually interview a coach from one of these local teams because he's a good friend of mine, but I didn't have the time, and he's already talked to different people about it, but overall, what I got from him just in conversation was the team had a very good potential to go places this year. It was just a matter of could they do it? They could have. More likely would have, but they just played a good season. They're happy. They got a new district for next year, so they're gonna be looking good next year. So, hey, maybe I'll treat you guys to a game next year.
Shoot.
And we're gonna go to local again, but this time it's gonna be very hot water football because you've been you know something about football. You've played, huh? So local football, new UIL districts for Texas, and let me just say this: an area I've looked at, a place called Llano. This new district they have is, they're looking pretty good. But from what I've also heard, they're losing some good players. So it's gonna be a very fun season next year. I'm gonna go out to some games. I don't know if you are. I don't know if either of you guys are. But hey, if you're in the area, I'll call you. Maybe we can go watch some football. Because believe it or not, when I watch local games, I get competitive. Because it's local. How are you not gonna root for your home team when they're playing?
True.
So,
Imagine our teams playing against each other.
Oh, I would not cheer for either.
I'd just sit there.
Yeah, we would just. Yeah, so for some who don't know, Brendan, Wyatt, and I were in different towns, and so is Zach. Me and Wyatt are same. Brendan's like 30 minutes north of us. Zach is, I'd say, like 40 minutes west. I guess.
I think so.
Or southwest, I guess you would say. I really don't know my directionals, and I'm not pulling a map. I'm too lazy.
Just that way.
Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, somewhere out that direction for reference, the camera's
not away from us.
Yeah. For reference, camera pointing at us is going south. We made sure of that. But yeah. So I've also been keeping up with.
No, wrong.
What?
This is north. That's south.
Oh, it's that way then.
Give me. Alright, you know what? Compass right here, right now. Okay, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to be a salty little boy for a second.
It's
North! The camera's pointing. So the way that they're looking at us, they are looking south. The camera's pointing at us towards the south direction. We're looking north, my friend. I was correct. I may have worded it differently. I will stop being salty in about 3, 2, 1. Right. So, personal sports. So, has anyone here ever competed in sports of their own?
Yes. I've played like nearly every sport, even volleyball.
What?
Yeah. I play volleyball from time to time.
Hey, I know some girls who play volleyball. I can call them up to see how good you are. I know people. So can you give us a rough list of what all sports you played?
Football, basketball, powerlifting. That was my favorite. Soccer, tennis. 1 year tennis. Didn't play volleyball.
Golf.
Yes, I played golf.
Huh.
I can't think of the others. I probably played them all.
And I know for sure on your downtime you love playing some 8-ball though.
Oh yes, 8-ball pool, yes.
Yeah. All right, so a bit of context. When we're hanging out and we're not recording or doing other stuff, say for Team Unnamed on YouTube or anything and everything, we're usually either messing around with the game, see what we can do, or playing some freaking 8-ball. And let me say, Brendan is a menace. He broke and ran. So that's, you hit the ball in 8-ball and you scatter them all. It's your turn. You sink them and you straight up win without letting your other opponent getting a shot. He's done it, and he's also lost in the very first shot. And as that, he hits the 8-ball, and he's also hit the cue ball, which is a scratch for those who don't know 8-ball. I'm never letting him live this down, and I'm never gonna give it up. I'm never gonna let it down. This is a copyright reference. Let's move on. Next. So,
hey, one thing, we might record some 8-ball for him one day.
are we gonna do that at our 8-ball joint?
No telling. We'll figure it out.
Alright. Wyatt, have you done any sports?
I've done upwards basketball.
What about golf? I know you've played
I've
golf.
also played golf.
Yeah. And you also play 8-ball. We all play 8-ball in our downtime, and you're a menace too!
Yes, he is.
I suck at 8-ball. I am bad. If we had anything on video, I would have the worst shots in the game. It's probably more cursed than our Cursed Mario Kart video on Team Unname's YouTube channel. Go check it out. We're linking that in the description on YouTube. This is totally not a self-sponsoring segment.
Yes. He will 90% of the time bounce the ball, miss the shot, or bounce the ball out to the pool table.
That's a quarter in the jukebox.
It is.
I swear, if you thought Zach's driving was cursed, no, this is more cursed. Alright, so have any of you done esports? Because we are going to count esports as a sport, gaming, tournaments.
What counts as esports?
Tournaments, competitions, anything ranked, even we'll call ranked, because, or actual league play.
No.
Really? You don't do tournaments? Any of the games you play? Really?
Yeah,
Not even, you don't even do ranked?
I play, like, competitively, but, like, regularly.
What about you, Wyatt? Anything that counts as esports in our book?
Golf.
Esports, but golf.
Sports.
Alright, so I guess I'm the only one who's done esports. I've done ranked play in Rainbow Six. I've done league play in Call of Duty. I've done World Raid Racing in Destiny 2. I've got a lot of titles under my belt, and I've lost every single one. Except for this last one. So if anyone knows, recently Destiny, they had another competition for a title of World's First in a new raid activity. Yeah. Okay, so some context on that one. So many error codes, so many people getting kicked out of the game. Not even funny. It was called Val the Anteater, because that's the most common error code you get. Anteater this, Anteater that. Maybe a bit of guitar, maybe a bit of something else, but 90% Anteater. You're out of the game, you get title screened. And let me say, I have slow load times. It may be my internet, because I know my PC is great. I've done Destiny 2 content off my PC, but yeah. Load times were horrible, so I gave up, and I just watched. I sat back and watched everyone else get salty. So, why don't you tell us a story about powerlifting, Brendan?
Oh, so I didn't think I'd do pretty good because I'm like small. Like on YouTube, you see my arms. Yeah, so
T-Rex Arms 1000.
yeah. But so I went to one meet. I qualified for regionals for 5th place for it. Then when I competed in regionals, I tied first.
Damn.
In the weight class above my weight class.
Dang.
And then I went to state, got 7th in state.
Nice.
Didn't come home with a medal, but
Yeah.
still the experience. Free food.
Of course you think of
Hey.
sports as free food.
Hey, Texas Roadhouse, okay? For free.
Okay, you win this round. I tell you what. So back when I did basketball in school, we went far places. So when we hit playoffs, so when my team hit playoffs a while ago, it was the first time they'd done it in years, a long time. So to celebrate even getting that far, Raising Cane's. I tell you what, that stuff is good. And if anyone disagrees, you're immediately getting banned from the comment section on YouTube. I don't care. You're not going to disagree on Cane's. I already had this fight with one of us, and he's not here. Wyatt, any stories from golf you'd like to tell us?
No. When starting out, I managed to hit a... What was it? A wedge straight into the hole.
Hey,
going... And I was at the bottom of a hill. I managed to launch it up over the hill right into the hole. I don't know how I managed to do it, but I managed to do it.
Good job.
I'm not going to... And no, Brendan, I already know what you're going to ask. No, I'm not inserting a clip from your Wii Sports. We use nothing but a freaking driver, and you got the hole.
From how close?
I don't know.
Too close.
Yeah, that was probably one of the worst things I've ever seen, honestly.
Mhm.
Like, without a doubt.
This man will sit here the entire game and just driver it even at the hole.
We were seeing how bad we do for a Cursed Wii Sports video because we have that power. And this man, you thought Zach's driving is cursed. You think my 8-ball shots are cursed. No, your golf is cursed.
Yes, it is.
We've been testing a lot with, believe it or not, sports games and stuff we're going to do for the channel. Because we're bored. We tried 8-ball, we tried golf, we've tried baseball. We've tried a lot of stuff in recording. I've deleted so many bad outtakes. Like,
No.
they weren't even... I'm not even kidding you. They didn't even know I was recording, believe it or not. So, I think 90% of it was us screaming of, how did you just land that in the hole? Jesus, that's impossible.
Yep.
That's how it went.
I think it was at one point so much that out of nowhere, I just got up, walked out of the room, come back with a huge bag of popcorn because... Okay, so Brendan, you would hit out of bounds so many times. Give up. I think we had like 5 give ups that entire game.
Probably.
We all had 1. Brendan had 2. Wyatt, you had 2. I had only 1 give up. Because, okay, so reference.
No, I only had 1 give up.
There was 5. So did Brendan
I
have
had 3.
You had 3?
He had 3.
Whoa, hold up. Did you just assume his gender?
It is
That's a
I get
strike.
confused sometimes, okay?
Alright,
How?
strike!
I don't know.
Oh, this would be a perfect time to include that clip from Wii Bowling. Strike! Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. This has been I think the worst thing you've done is probably your cursed golf shot that made it in the hole somehow. And what's some other cursed stuff we've done?
Modded Smash.
Oh god. We'll include that next time we talk about games or
Yeah.
esports, but
Oh jeez, we still gotta do the Wii U.
yeah. You got banned from online play somehow in tournaments. Seriously, Brendan goes into ranked for his freaking Smash Bros. For Wii U. He immediately launched into a match, suspended for 10 minutes. How do you did you rage quit on join? Like, I know I've had, like, connection issues and I've been suspended in competitive Destiny too, but you get banned for existing. You get banned for existing. Like, how?
I honestly don't know anymore.
Honestly, that sounds like him.
Yeah. I think, no. Yeah, that's probably the worst. So do any of y'all want to continue doing sports later in life?
No. I quit sports altogether this year.
Yeah. What about you? You think about sports anytime, or are you just gonna sit at home and continue whatever the heck it is you're doing?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do with my life quite yet.
Quick story. My first year in high school as a freshman, I played football, and my football team went to playoffs. I played in the first playoff game, and we made it all the way to the last round and lost in playoffs.
Yeah, that's
And then next year we made it to playoffs again. We lost early that time, but COVID ended it for me since I got it. So
yeah. The whole thing with COVID has impacted sports a lot.
yeah.
So, some stories. So, if anyone knows, a few years ago there was a big outbreak of corona and it shut down a lot of schools down over here in Texas.
Yeah.
Let me just say, the following year, there were so many complaints about softball and baseball seasons getting shot. It wasn't even funny. So, the entire next year's school, everyone was like, no one gets sick. We're trying to prevent a shutdown so we don't have to lose baseball and softball again. I was concerned about losing basketball because, well, it was my favorite sport, and that was the year the team broke and went to playoffs for the first time in several years. But believe it or not, we went a lot of that time without football people who played because we got to the last round of playoffs and we lost. Seriously, like we were probably going to go to state, but we lost, and that was a very salty night for everyone in this small little town. So yeah, I know how it feels getting to almost a state. Yeah, this year football we got knocked out second round of playoffs, I think so. Yeah, that's a story I don't even know how it happened, but I guarantee you at least one person who watched or listens to this episode is gonna have something to say about it.
This year for football, we went to playoffs but lost first round. We did not have a good team this year.
Oh yeah, no, my town creamed your town in regular season. I remember that game. I remember that game. We went over to your house, we bopped you hard, and we went home. Man, you could have come out and seen me that day.
I was there.
You were. I didn't see you.
You didn't know me then.
I didn't know you. You metric. I almost had to go edit. I don't know my editing software because my editor is not here. He won't answer my calls. He barely texts. So yeah. So, are you gonna at least support teams next year in sports?
Yeah, definitely hometown. And if I go watch your town play, that town.
Wyatt might not. Or would you
What?
support any sports teams next year?
Maybe.
Mm.
Maybe not. I don't know.
So, I'm gonna tell a story on Zach's behalf. So, a couple years back, right before the schools were closed for COVID, Zach played tennis.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty good at it, but what he wasn't expecting was. So back then we weren't on good terms. We just got through an issue, so he was playing tennis. His team came to my hometown, so I had a very awkward day where I just watched him play tennis, and he didn't even recognize it. He thought I was at home, but yeah, he's pretty good at tennis, but he stopped playing for some ungodly reason because
I don't know why.
he won't even answer us. I guarantee you, if I text him right now, he would not tell me why he stopped. Yeah. So, sports is probably one of the most time-consuming things because you have practicing, you have team events, you have whatever. But it also gives you some good experiences in life, I think we can say.
Yeah.
Because you get once-in-a-lifetime experiences like state for powerlifting.
Yeah. Or playoffs, breaking a record for your home team that hasn't done it in so many years.
Yeah. My freshman year was the first time we ever went to playoffs for football. So I got lucky.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the worst thing that's ever happened in sports is watching so many... So this year in playoffs, believe it or not, when we got knocked out second round, we had 2 players removed from the game. Like, they got injured, critical.
Damn.
Yeah, one of them got hit in the arm and it was bad. He was out, and the other one, I think it was the leg. And no, I'm not gonna insert that clip of the guy screaming my leg.
You knew my brain.
Yeah, but yeah, have you guys had injuries in sports?
Oh, there was this so in 8th grade, there was one game. Every single person had a concussion except 11 people for football.
Oh.
We had to take a 7th grader and put him on the 8th grade team.
Oh, that's agony. That's kind of against rules because the state system, I think that's against the rules having to bring.
Oh, don't worry. I was the person on the 7th grade team, and I was in 8th grade. Yeah, it was my first time playing football. So.
Wow. Yeah.
So I guess that's how you got into it?
Mm-hmm.
In accident. So why
I played every position that game.
Mr. Worldwide is a step in the room. Wyatt, have you been injured doing a sport?
Even in sport.
I think the worst thing I got was a hand cramp, and let's just say when your hand is cramping and you can't do crap on a controller.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, because believe it or not, so here's my story. So we're gonna go back in time to November of 2020. Destiny 2 Beyond Light had freshly come out, and it was time for the raid race for a world competition for the activity raid known as Deep Stone Crypt. Believe it or not, I was one of the lead teams because my team figured some stuff out that no one else had, but my hand cramped in the middle of a damage phase, so I didn't output enough. My team wiped. And we just figured out the encounter, so we've been going at this for 8 hours straight, and it was the worst anyone's been. Everyone just got to where we were at, and they were figuring it out. But my team was so stressed, we were stuck on this part for so long, because we got it first, they gave up. My whole team quit on me. So, I was the only one. I couldn't find a backup team, but I had to take care of hand cramp, so I think we could have legit gotten close to Worlds first if I didn't screw us over. Because then we would have gotten past it, we could have figured it out, but yeah. It's always better to let it's always better to just sit back and watch the ride because the thrill of being in something so high stakes and being close to or being in first place, it's painful to go down.
Actually, I take that back. I've been in a tournament.
Oh.
Pool tournaments.
Go figure. You're an 8-ball player who gambles.
What?
You want to tell us that story then?
Oh no, that's the story for another time.
We're going to cover that story in a future episode, or even, heck, in a random moments of a team name video. I'm more than likely to feel it. Yeah? Seems alright?
Seems alright.
Yeah. You know, believe it or not, so we're in this town where I'm from, there was always one guy who always had a leg injury for, like, almost any other season. Believe it or not, it was a very valuable viable trend until high school when it broke.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second that trend came back was playoffs this past year. So guess who got salty on the sidelines because an old joke came back?
You.
Oh, I think I was screaming and cursing for at least an hour and a half when no one was looking.
How do you manage to do that?
It's called get up from the stands, get where no one can find you, start screaming and cursing.
Makes sense.
That's
Without being noticed that, hey, you're going.
well, everyone else was screaming and yelling at the game because where we're from, let's just say officials can be kind of tough to deal with. So.
Yo, last year during football season, your team took our armadillo.
Oh, I remember that.
And y'all put
We put it.
mascot.
Okay, so here's this joke. So last year it's Brendan's hometown versus mine hometown for our homecoming game.
Yeah.
So a few people from our town pull up this excellent stunt where we took their mascot, which is an armadillo, and put it in our town in front of a pig. So we put our mascot, which is a yellow jacket or bee or whatever you want to call it. It was riding the armadillo. It was funny. It stayed there all throughout the week until homecoming day. I was dying laughing when I first saw it. My family was like, wait a minute. That's pretty hilarious. I swear, that was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, everyone in my town was so salty.
Oh, that's nothing. Half of our town was convinced we were going to lose because you guys have been to state. You guys have been good. Oh, you guys were looking good that last year.
Did y'all look good?
We won. Yeah, we won. It was close. It was down
yeah.
to the last, like, the second we got that last touchdown, we all started piling on the field, and, like, school officials were like, hey, no, get back in the stands.
Get back in the stand.
I was in the stands because I'm a good little boy.
Hey, I was there. I was playing football at the time.
Oh, wait, did you see us start piling? Hey, so I was a good boy, but so back then I didn't have many friends. I had one guy who was playing football, and my other friends were a couple of girls, believe it or not.
Ooh.
Now I can't find girls that want to be friends with me or girlfriends. And
You find someone.
shut the heck up, Brendan. I was single back during Valentine's special of anything and everything. I will be single during this episode of anything and everything. I don't even know if I want to get back into dating yet. I mean, I've tried with some people, but
Hey,
I've
take
got-
some time for yourself.
I've got a lot going on right now, and heck, I might even give my socials to my buddy to try and get me some people. But if that fails, I'm gonna kill him when I see him.
Oh,
Anyways, back to sports.
Death Strike.
So, what's the worst you've seen a staff member at your school not want to participate or endure a sport?
He raped a kid.
Whoa! We cannot do that! Okay, leave that there. This is getting the explicit marker. Okay. So, I'll tell a story. So, believe it or not, at my school, there's a teacher who shall remain nameless that they, believe it or not, they would come to only guys sports. They go to football, maybe even boys basketball, but not like baseball or anything. Because they didn't like girls sports because they're slow and all that, like slow pace. Like, she was like, everyone's calling this teacher sexist, or at least the girls were. The guys didn't care because the guys were all like crazy for this teacher. They're gonna remain nameless, and anyone who watched this episode, nothing what I have no personal opinion on this matter. I am going to stay faceless on it. So all the girls like this teacher doesn't care, like, because during girls basketball season, the teacher's like, nah, son, I don't want to go to your sports. It's slow. And even during softballs, he was like, I don't want to go to softball. I don't like baseball. Why would he even like softball? So I was like, what? But yeah, everyone was going off about it, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit here, keep planning the next podcast episode, because that was this year when we first started doing anything and everything. When we first started meeting, when we first started talking, back when we had an editor. A moment of silence. And F in the chat. Yes, that was me pressing a keyboard for an F in the chat joke. But yeah, so that was probably the craziest thing about sports, but the most I've seen a teacher go for sports is, I know a teacher who's a math teacher, that's all you're going to know, who loves every sport and would go to every sport, any and every sport, not a pun about the podcast title or the episode, don't misconstrue that, but yeah, I know this guy very well. He's a valuable friend of mine, but he didn't care, in a sport. The only issue he had was probably the fact that he couldn't get people to be ready for other sports. Like football season, they went good, so we need basketball players, and this teacher's like, we need players, because I'll tell you what, people who only play basketball are thin these days. Like people who only play basketball, people who only play football, like people 90% of the time will only play football, believe it or not, in their careers. A study has shown. Our study. So I think with that, we're gonna start running out of ideas soon. So
I have a question for
What?
Wyatt. Why have you been so quiet?
he doesn't know anything about. He doesn't know a thing about sports.
You nearly made another pun.
That's why I stopped, Bren.
And also, why I've been remaining quiet is I've been working on stuff right now.
So we're gonna go into a bit of context real quick. So if you don't want to stick around for some context, the episode is over. You're good to go. But if you want to hear some context about other things going on, we're gonna continue. So fun fact, we're gonna get back into Team Unnamed content soon. We got some equipment and we're continuing maintenance. So Team Unnamed has been quiet for a while over on YouTube. We posted a video because we have a new member. Her name is Sam. Wyatt introduced us. She'll appear in videos sometimes. We're not sure how this is going to fully work out yet. That is a Wyatt question. Wyatt, do you have any statement?
I'll have to talk to her.
Yeah, so they're cool friends, but yeah, we recorded a Mario Kart video with her. It's up on Team Unnamed and the Unnamed Dude channels. But we got a capture card for gameplay for Wyatt's end because I was the only one who had a viable console recording source. So
Hey. Oh yeah.
yeah, you don't have a computer even. So we've been trying to record stuff. We might do a Call of Duty series. We're gonna do we are for sure gonna do a Destiny series because we've already started putting work in, and we might even do a Minecraft series. We're not sure. So Wyatt invested in a capture card. We started testing with it, but it's choppy, so we're doing maintenance on his computer because we were gonna start recording our new Destiny series, World's Worst Fire Team. So context. That series is going to be me and Wyatt and anyone else who has Destiny and the current stuff for it. We're going to start, like, freaking doing stupid stuff. Like,
Mainly them two.
yeah, until someone else gets into Destiny. Which you need some maintenance for yourself before you start doing Xbox-related content. So
Yeah.
we start doing test recordings, and his computer's not running well. So he's been using maintenance.
We could do review content unmodded.
Oh, yeah. So other context for later. So he's been performing maintenance all night while we've been recording this because, believe it or not, I'm not going to pull this blind out of the way, but it is night outside.
It is.
Time for me to get a watch.
It is like 9:41 right now.
Yeah. So Wyatt's been performing maintenance the entire episode, so we're going to continue working, and eventually I've been learning editing so I can put editing into our World's Worst Fire Team Destiny 2 series, so we can have Wyatt and mine's point of views individually in episodes because, well, the group content's mostly been focused around my point of view, and we thought as everyone that if we're going to do group content, we need different point of views because if you look at other great group channels, they have other point of views and other great funny moments. So Wyatt, we all invested in this, but now it's just about performing maintenance and getting Wyatt up to speed. When we do, we will start recording that video because the first video, we're not even sure what we're going to do yet. We were just focusing on getting this ready.
Yeah.
I'm working on getting a hard drive and a PC.
Yeah,
so I can record.
Yeah, so we can include Brendan maybe in World's Worst Fire Team, so when he gets the game. So other than that, we also have some fun content lined up because we have a Wii U and we modded it over the weekend because if you have a retro console that can run custom games, do it.
Yes.
So we modded it, and we might record some Curse Smash Bros. Wii U moments because we've already got mods loaded into this thing, and it's cursed. I think the most cursed thing is the fact that
You can't
some-
do Knuckles.
we're gonna keep some of it private, but some characters are more powerful than what anime calls the most powerful character ever. Oh, it's hilarious. Wyatt's just walked into the room one time we were recording. He's like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, I just walk in, and they're over here.
Saitama versus Mr. Krabs.
Just, I don't even know.
He doesn't even understand half the references, and it's cursed. He can tell.
I don't even know at this point. I'm like, these guys are doing shit I don't even know.
Yeah, it's honestly hilarious. We've got great stuff lined up for you guys. We can't wait to start getting on it, but also Spotify issue, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any other service. The podcast might not show up because we have a payment issue with our hosting provider. We're sorting out like right now as this is being uploaded, and you're probably listening. So as soon as it's done, it'll be up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and every other service you would listen to. And if you have any other service that you listen to podcasts to that you would prefer, go to YouTube. We'll link both channels in the video where the videos will be. Put a comment and we'll look into it because we have been looking more into what you guys want because we're trying to do stuff. So until next time, we've been Team Unnamed, Dev, Wyatt,
Hello.
and Brendan.
What's up?
So thank you all for listening to this week's episode, and we will get back to you shortly. Have a great night. You're awesome. Just kidding. You all suck.